Hey guys, it's me, Mary, back for one final video. So let me share my PowerPoint once again and start the review. Oops, I went back to the beginning. I guess I'll have to jump around a little. Alright, let's review for the real this time. So here are some review questions that you should know how to answer if you're really paying attention. So the first question is, what year was the Battle of Peckuwe? Give me a few seconds here. The second question is, what war was it a part of? This one will be a little more difficult. Which American Indian tribe lived at Peckuwe? How many groups did Clark's soldiers split into? And what happened to Colonel Logan? Alright, the answers to those questions coming up. So the answers to those questions should have been 1870, that's when the Battle of Peckuwe took place. It was a part of the Revolutionary War. The Shawnee were the ones who lived at the village of Peckuwe primarily when it was attacked. George Rogers Clark split his troops into 3 different groups. One of those groups was led by Colonel Logan, and what happened to him? He got stuck in the cliffs and he missed the battle completely. So the next set of questions. What weapon did the Americans mount on the top of the hill? Which side, the American Indians or the American military, had more casualties? What kind of survey did we do at Peckuwe? What is the National Register? And why are the boundaries important? So the answer to the first one is they mounted a cannon on top of the hill. The Americans suffered far more casualties than that of the American Indians. We did a metal detector survey. The National Register is a system that tracks the boundaries of important historical events like battles. Why are those boundaries important? So we can preserve history. Last set of questions. What were our buckles mostly used for? What landmark did we find the buttons near? How old was our oldest horseshoe? What's the difference between lead balls and buckshot? And finally, what kind of knife blades do we have? So first, our buckles were mostly used for horse harnesses and saddles. The buttons were found under a large tree. Our oldest horseshoes from 1800. The lead balls are larger and the buckshot are smaller and less precise. And finally, we have American belt knife blades. So tally up and see how many of those questions you got right out of 15. If you got 10 to 15 right, you did awesome. You did amazing and you were paying good attention. If you got 5 to 10 right, you're doing pretty good. You paid a good bit of attention and you retained a decent amount of information. If you got 0 to 5 right, I think you need a little more practice. Maybe you should go back through the videos again and learn some more. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal experiences here at the Battle of Peckuwe. This was my first long-term fieldwork that I worked on. I was there for about a month, and I learned a lot while I was there. I learned how to use the Trimble, the weird GPS point plotter. I learned how to dig a proper hole for Ohio regulation. Yeah, that's right, there's actually regulations for how to dig holes when you're an archaeologist. I learned how to plot 10 meters by foot, which is an important measurement to use because that's how far every hole has to be when you're doing standard. So standard is 10 meters apart for every hole, because otherwise the metal detectors will start pinging on each other and it'll just be a huge mess. I've studied archaeology for going on 4 years now, and I'm happy to say that it still excites me every day, and I'm really glad to be a part of this team. I still wake up every day excited to go to work, excited to come to my job, and excited to do things like this, like record videos for you guys. I think I prefer lab work to field work just because field work, but I don't know, because field work has its own set of really cool experiences that you can be a part of. You get to travel, you get to bond with your friends, and afterward you can do whatever you want. You can play your DS, or you can go outside and hang on a hammock, you can sleep if you want, and all of those things are surrounded by all your friends that you'll make doing archaeology. And trust me, you'll make a lot. At least I did. That whole group of people down there are people that I now consider my friends, like my good friends, because we were all there for a month together and we all shared all these really cool experiences that other people just don't really understand. So, I just want to thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you learned a lot more about what an archaeologist does in the Battle of Peckuwe. So there again is me by that giant tree where we found all those buttons. And in the right picture, that's me holding a turtle that we named Herbert that we found in the forest. Now, this is something that you actually have to be careful with. If you find an animal in the forest, you should know not to touch it unless you know it's not harmful, like a turtle. But you have to be very careful that you're always putting the wildlife back where you found it. You can't take it out of its home. You have to be careful that everything is being returned to their home and that they're going to be safe and that they're going to be away from predators. And if you see something in danger, like a frog about to be eaten by a bird, you just have to let it happen, unfortunately, because that's the way nature works. So thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you had some fun, and I hope you learn more about the Battle of Peckuwe and what we do in archaeology. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.